Hi, in this video, we are going to learn about the interesting opening against Reti. In the last round of the recent offline tournament, my opponent played knight f3 and I played knight f6 and he played g3. Actually, I was in must win situation, so I tried this interesting variation b5. It's an interesting move. So we are playing bb7 and we are challenging this g2 bishop. And also, this pawn indirectly disturbs this knight. Whenever he plays knight c3, we have b4. So my opponent played bishop g2, played bishop b7, castle, and I played e6, d3, and bishop e7. And my opponent played e4, and I castle. And here my opponent played h3 to develop his bishop on e3 so that I cannot play knight g4. So here actually the best move is d6, but I played c5, gaining more space and also center control. My opponent played bishop e3, and again I played d5. Now black is completely dominating in the center. So my opponent played e5, then knight fd7, and he played rook e1, knight c6, threatening to win the pawn. So my opponent played bishop f4. Now here I played an interesting move. Can you find it? Yeah, I played f5. Now white has to take my pawn, otherwise we can improve our kingside attack with g5. Even if white plays h4, we have h6 and g5. So this is completely better for black. So my opponent took my pawn with en passant. Yes, it weakens my e6 pawn, but I had a plan. After bishop takes f6, I'm threatening to win the rook with bishop takes b2. And also, I'm threatening to play e5. So black is completely dominating the position. And here my opponent played d4, which is actually a mistake. Now, can you find the best continuation for black? Yeah, here my opponent's plan is if I play knight takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, and he can play c3 to attack my bishop. And after saving the bishop, he can take the pawn on e6. That's his plan. He didn't see the best continuation for me. Yes, I played knight takes d4. Good move. Again, knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4. As he planned, he played c3, but he completely missed my best move. Can you find it? Yeah, I didn't save my bishop. Actually, I sacrificed my bishop. It's a brilliant sacrifice in this position. So obviously, only move king takes f2. Here I played e5 to win the bishop back, and my opponent played bishop takes d5 check. Bishop takes d5. Again, queen takes d5 check. Here my opponent thought I will play king h8 so that he can play rook takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes e5, and I cannot play g5 to win this bishop because my pawn will be in pin. But actual thing is, king h8 is the best move, but I completely missed it. I played rook f7. Why this is best move? Because after rook takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes e5. Yes, I cannot play g5, but have a brilliant move b4. But I didn't see this one. Obviously, it's not an easy move. With b4, what we are doing is we are restricting this knight's development. But also, we are going to play moves like queen d1. So these pieces are completely undeveloped. So this is completely winning for black. But I completely missed it. So I played rook f7. So that I'm blocking the check, and also after rook takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes e5, I can play g5. That's the idea. But here my opponent took 45 minutes and he found the best continuation for white. He played knight d2 and pawn takes f4. Obviously, capturing this pawn is bad because white's king is too weak. Once again, my opponent found the best move, knight e4. And pawn takes g3 check, king takes g3, and here I played the best move, knight f6. And only move for my opponent is knight takes f6, because in this position, if you play moves like queen takes d8, rook takes d8, and if you try to win the pawn back with knight takes c5, this is completely winning for black. Can you find the winning continuation? Yeah, it's knight h5 check. Brilliant move. Because now you cannot go back because rook d2 check. If the king goes to g1, again this rook come to f2, and this is completely winning for black because all the three pieces will attack white's king. And if the king comes out like king h4 or king g4, once again we have a very nice move. Rook 4 check, only move, king takes h5, and it's a forcing checkmate. So my opponent didn't play this. Instead, he played knight takes f6 check. And I played pawn takes f6. Again, actually, the best move for white is queen takes d8. But my opponent played queen takes c5, which is actually a mistake. And once again, this is completely winning for black. Can you find the best continuation for black? And the next two moves are very important actually. First, rook g7, obvious move, rook g7 check. If the king goes inside, easily my queen will attack. So he played king f3. And once again, this move is important. Queen d7. You're threatening to play queen takes h3. Now this king is too weak. So here my opponent played queen h5 to protect this pawn. And I played rook g5. Obviously, if he plays rook g1 to pin the rook, once again we can play queen f5 check. This king is too weak. So he played queen h4. And after queen f5 check, queen f4 and queen takes h3 check. He played king e4, rook e8 check. Here my opponent actually resigned because only move is king d4, and after queen d7 check, queen d6, queen takes d6, it's a checkmate. I was in a must-win situation in this game. That's why I used this line and it worked for me very well. With this win, I also scored 7.5 points out of 9 and also I won a good cash prize. You also try this opening and let me know your experience in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video and also learned something useful. Do subscribe for more chess improvement content. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.